Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Shake Them Ropes post-show video. Rob McCarran, Jeff Hawkins with his super thumbs up action going on. We are here to do Q&A. We just recorded episode 98 of Shake Them Ropes. You can catch it at voicesofwrestling.com/STR, or if you're a subscriber on iTunes, Stitcher, any of our podcast platforms, it'll come to you automatically. We'll also upload it here, or it should be uploaded by now, to our YouTube page in audio form. So we got some questions, Jeff, from the people. So it is our responsibility to answer them and give the best answers that we can. And our first question comes from I Am Medellin on Twitter.
All right.
Asks, is the Intercontinental title actually haunted? And should this be a gimmick to bring back the Boogeyman? Obviously, he is referencing the current Intercontinental Champion Ryback, who released a photo on Instagram earlier this week of his right leg still being super swollen and stuffed with pus and bacteria and whatnot with his staph infection. So is the Intercontinental Championship haunted, Jeff?
No, but it's cursed. How about that? It's just it's just bad timing, and it happens.
It's bad timing.
So no, don't, and never bring back the Boogeyman.
Don't bring back the Boogeyman. Boogeyman's still out there wrestling.
Nice guy.
Yeah.
Don't ever bring back.
I just saw an advertisement for a show he's supposed to be on. I think somewhere in the Midwest, Boogeyman is wrestling. He's a big star still in the indie scene. We're going to go to some other questions here as I asked for a few. We got Tom on the Twitter.
Hi, Tom.
Asking, does Neville's Open Challenge... Oh, this was the question we actually answered a little bit at the end of Shake Them Ropes this week about Neville's championship match against Rollins on Raw. Did the Open Challenge help or hurt him more? Now, what I'll do is ask this part of the question. Does pointing out his size act as a negative? Is pointing out his size too much of a negative that can't be overcome by the great performances Neville is doing?
Yes, because remember, it's a conditioning business. So stop pointing out his size. Just say he's great for his size. It hurt Ray on his push. It hurt Taz. It killed Taz when he came in because nobody believed he was a butt kicker
right off the bat.
Yeah,
right off the bat.
So, and it hurt Ray in the long run. Stop pointing out size as a factor. You can point it out as, wow, he's smaller than that guy. You wouldn't think he'd be able to hold his own or whatnot.
Yeah.
But pointing out size doesn't do anything for anybody. It didn't do anything for Malenko. It didn't do anything for Benoit or Guerrero or any of these guys that we love. So stop doing it.
Would you want to see the Dudleys back in WWE?
Maybe for one shot, not full time or part time. I can take or leave them at this point. I think they deserve maybe a Hall of Fame entry, but
I gotta see them being in the Hall of, especially now when there's okay, who can you put in the Hall of Fame? I don't know if you put them in Dallas. Maybe if there's another East Coast WrestleMania in the future.
No, you don't put them in Dallas. I think you put in someone of a higher quality in Dallas, to be honest. And that's no knock against them necessarily, but in terms of Dallas being a big wrestling town and having all that history and being a big deal, I'd put someone like the Midnight Express before I put the Dudleys in.
Did you hear the Dana White comments on wrestling being fake over the weekend?
I read tweets to the comments of it. Yes.
Are they a big deal?
Was it wrestling being dead or wrestling being fake?
Do you care?
No, because
people say it's fake all the time. I don't care anymore if people call it fake. I'm not the defender of pro wrestling. I don't have to go and everyone who says it's fake say, no, it's not. It's real. Friends was fake. Ross and Rachel didn't really get married.
It's not hypothetical, but hypocritical and thin-skinned of wrestlers to go after Dana for saying these things when Vince for years said the UFC isn't their competition.
Yeah. It's funny too, because Seth Rollins kind of started it just because he was kind of joking. Right. And then Dana White responded with something about it being fake. Like, hey, more notice on the WWE side calling it fake. That's fine.
Hey, nobody, right? Dana didn't seem to mind when he was using the WWF as part of a positive for Brock. So
for Brock and for Tough Enough, really. when it was on
Right.
Spike TV, starting that up.
Mhm. Yeah.
Tom on Twitter, the Thomas Bobo, asks, which team won the Major League Baseball trade deadline, and how does that shape your World Series predictions? Were you happy at all with how the LA teams did in the trade deadline, Jeff?
No, the Angels didn't do much, did they?
Dodgers nor the Angels did anything.
No, the Dodgers got
Dodgers got Matt Latos.
Yeah, but they were aiming for David Price, from what I know, so they kind of failed. I was happy with what the Mets did.
Yeah, the Mets.
I'm happy with the Mets. I like seeing the Mets being good. I'm tired of the Yankees being the only New York team. And I'm not the biggest Mets fan in the world. Their AAA team was around where I grew up. That's why, and my dad was a Mets fan back in the day. But you know what? I'm happy with what the Dodgers and the Mets did. But neither made huge moves.
They didn't make huge moves. Now, Matt Latos being in there is a solid number 3 starter. So the Dodgers in a short series, the Dodgers are going to be pretty tough to beat. The Mets would probably be the second toughest team to beat in a short series.
And maybe the Nats in the National League at least.
Well, the Nationals now aren't even in the playoff picture.
Who's the wild card right now?
The wild cards are the Cubs and the Pirates. Because the Nationals have a better shot of winning their division than they do the wild card.
Oh, the Schadenfreude of having the Cubs in the playoffs.
Yeah, they're tied up there with the Giants. There's a bunch of teams kind of in there, but the Nationals have to win that division or else both of those teams in the NL East have to go on a run. Right. But yeah. So
the Mets are going to blow it, I think, so don't worry about it.
Finally on the show, it's the last week of Jon Stewart as the host of The Daily Show. He is done on Thursday. Are you excited for the Trevor Noah Daily Show?
I wasn't even excited for the Jon Stewart Daily Show, so no.